Okay, so this one, I've got the valves adjusted. I've got I got it serviced, and I got most of the parts. I'm waiting for two drive belts, and then this will be ready to go. Now the drive belts were supposed to be here next Friday, so that's over a week. I mean, it's what is today? Monday. So next Friday. So I got to go through this Friday and a full week later. But the parts made it from Texas to Missouri already. It was 40 miles away this morning at 4:27. Now I know it's going to go over to Columbia, Missouri, and Columbia, Missouri is just, it's weird. Same with Kansas City. Now it went to Kansas City already, and then went to a different town, and it's going to go back, and then it's got to come back to this town. It's nuts how it all works. But I suspect it'll be here in a couple days. I don't think I'm going to have to wait until that next Friday. I mean, Columbia could hang on to it for that long, but I would suspect they'll give it here, you know, pretty quick. I hope. I forgot to check the tire pressures on this. Dang. Oh, I did some welding yesterday, so let's check out the welding I did. I did welding on 2 different lawnmowers. I learned a lot about welding last night. I've been using AI to help me learn. I mean, you can only learn so much from YouTube videos. I mean, you got some guy in a YouTube video who is sitting in a shop with 2 pieces of brand new steel that he just bought from the store. I mean, it is shiny, beautiful, pretty. But they don't show you how to fix a deck that's rusted and falling apart. So I've been using AI to help me. So I had to weld this bracket back on, and that was pretty easy. That didn't take a lot of effort. But on the inside, it was completely rusted out, and I learned something. So usually you strike an arc and you run a bead, and then you got to knock the slag off. So that's why you're beating and sanding, you know, brushing it off. You got to knock that off. Otherwise, your next layer of weld won't stick. But when you have a hole like that, first of all, what happens is the rust. You know, the deck is a certain thickness, so you set your welder to that thickness, and you got to. You absolutely have to. Too cold, it won't weld. Too hot, it blows it right out. You'll have a hole in it. Well, the problem is that rust. It makes the metal thinner. So what I worked out with AI was blow that rust out. Use your normal settings. In this case, it was 60 amps, and just let it blow out. Don't panic, and then fill it in. Now, AI said to use copper, but I went a little further in the research, and they decided I wasn't going to use copper to hold that in, because then you have to beat it every time you make a circle and clean it. And what I realized is if you go in a circle pattern, you can just keep going in a circle, and it makes it kind of like a bowl or a funnel. And every time you go around, that slag heats back up and falls down to the next circle, and down and down and down. And then when you get down to the bottom where you finally fill in the hole, that is where all the slag sets. So now you beat that out, you clean that up real good. So all the slag fell down to that point down there, or into the bowl. You knock that out, you fill it in, and then that makes it just perfect. You don't have to keep stopping and starting, stopping and starting. So I learned a lot. And I feel like I went from an okay welder to I've got a handle on this now. I did it to both machines, and it worked perfectly. And then this one just had a little bit of rust spot. So again, I welded it, and it just blew all the way back and all the way up. So I just kind of went in a circle and a circle and a circle. And actually I had to go way back here, so it was more of an oval. But every time I went around, that slag fall down, it worked really good. I just noticed that I missed a couple spots. I'm painting that over there, so I'm gonna go get the paint while we're here. So, as you know, I have a second YouTube channel where I show people how to work on lawnmowers. And I actually feel like I want to teach you how to work on lawnmowers. I don't do it just to make money. Of course, that is why I do YouTube, period. But I really do have some sort of ethical boundaries. Like on this channel, I know I could make a lot more money if I fearmongered. If I did that rage bait stuff. I've done it before, but I don't feel ethical about it, so I don't do it. Well, the same with the other channel. I want to make sure that I'm actually teaching you something, that I'm not just wasting your time. Carolyn's cooking chicken, so let's get the paint and get out of here. So anyway, on that other channel, I teach you how to, the best I can, how to repair lawnmowers. And I feel like I'm pretty thorough about it. I feel like a lot of people learn stuff. So, but then, you know, sometimes you find a lawnmower or something and you think, this guy should not be working on lawnmowers. And I really struggled trying to figure out the ethics of what I was doing. That's better. If I don't think people can actually fix a lawnmower, should I be teaching them how to fix a lawnmower and encouraging them, yeah, tear your lawnmower apart, and then when you mess it up, bring it to a mechanic? And I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. So I started having a conversation with Carolyn and AI and trying to figure this out. This machine right here. So he brings it to me and it's in pieces. And I don't have a problem putting, most of the time, if a homeowner, let's put it this way, if a homeowner is taking something apart and realized they got in over their head, I don't have a problem putting it back together if I can figure out how to put it back together. Now, that is a pretty, I've done that enough, I should say, that I know how to put it together pretty easily. I had one, I got one in the camper, all tore apart because it needed a new cable. I couldn't find a new cable for a reasonable price, so I'm just using it for parts. So if a homeowner brings me one, I'll work on it. But if somebody else, yeah, I got a buddy came over and tore it all apart, I don't know what he did, and no, I'm not going to work on that. I'm not taking responsibility for his work. If I tell a homeowner, look, you took this apart, there's a risk that, you know, there's missing pieces. We don't know what's going on. But for some reason, when you do it with, yeah, my buddy took it apart, they don't quite understand that their buddy messed it up. They don't want to admit that. They want to think I did it. So I'm kind of cautious, but it doesn't matter regardless. Anyway, so he brings it to me and it's all apart, and he says, it was bogging down. Well, actually, here's what he said. Do you work on still weed eaters? Yeah, I do. Okay, I got this weed eater. It's bogging down when you pull the trigger. Well, that could be two different things. But I'm telling you, with today's gas, you know, what he was describing, I just felt like, yeah, it's probably a carburetor. I say, yeah, with this ethanol gas, you know, those carburetors go bad pretty quick. Well, over a couple months, maybe even a month. It doesn't take long. Yeah. Except I don't use ethanol gas. I use non-ethanol gas. And I use still 2-cycle oil, which is fine. So, I mean, he already dismissed what he said. He says, I think it was the muffler. I said, oh, yeah, that could be too. I I don't see a lot of those. And so I explained to him what would cause it. I said, if you're using a commercial weed eater like that one, an FS56RC, straight shaft, that's a commercial weed eater. And you're not even holding the throttle, you're just letting it spin on its own. You're not burning that oil out of the muffler. It accumulates in the muffler, it stays there, it becomes like tar. And it just builds up, and eventually it won't run. He says, yeah, that's what it is, that's what I do. Okay. But he completely dismissed the carburetor idea. Fine. So anyway, I bring it down here and I put it together. It's missing a spring, so I go down to my parts one and get a spring so his trigger will work properly. It didn't need the spring. You could have ran it without it, but I put it in there. Put it all together. I took the muffler and burned it with a torch. And it takes about 15 minutes. You sit there and you hold the torch at the end of it. You take the muffler off and you hold it. And it will smoke like it's a chimney fire. It smokes. It chokes you out like a bad head gasket on a lawnmower. It smokes. And you just, trying to breathe, blowing that out with a blowtorch. And it burns all that oil out of there is what it's doing. Well, I did that, and there was some oil in there. But when I looked at the spark arrestor, it wasn't terrible. I could see through it. I mean, it was carboned up, but it wasn't terrible. It wouldn't have caused it to bog down like he was describing. I'm sure of it. But anyway, so it's clean. I get it all put back together. I try to start it, and it bogs down. And I try to adjust it, and try to adjust it, and try to adjust it. Nothing. Won't start, or won't rev up. So I tell him, the carburetor is dry rotted, it's flooding out. I don't know, I know that you say you didn't you use non-ethanol gas, but if you left it over the winter and it dry rotted, it could be getting too much fuel. Well, I don't agree, but okay. So he approved it, but he didn't agree. So I got the carburetor on it today, and just to show you, we'll come over here. Watch it make a fool out of me now. Let's see, it just ran, so. So I even tried to bog it down at the head. You may have saw me. I tried to hold it into the grass to see if it would bog down. It doesn't bog down. It throttles right up. So that's a new carburetor. So I got to thinking about this. Okay, so my other channel teaches you how to work on lawnmowers. YouTube University, whatever you want to call it. If you are a student and you decide, you know what, even at a technical school, whatever, and I'm going to work on my lawnmower and I'm going to give it a try. You work on it and oops, I messed up. Well, now you got to pay your tuition. That's your tuition. You take it to a mechanic, say, hey, I was trying to figure out how to do this on my own. I messed it up. Can you fix it? Sure, no problem. What's it doing? It's bogging down. I thought it was a muffler, but I can't even get the dang thing put back together. Okay, but it could be the carburetor too. Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. Yeah. That's a university. That's a student learning. What this guy did, no, it's not the carburetor. I use non-ethanol gas. So he shouldn't be a mechanic. His pride won't let him be wrong. How hard is it to work on a... That's the thing. How hard is it to work on a weed eater? Come on, man. It's not that hard. You're making this overcomplicated. I do everything I'm supposed to do. Well, then why didn't you put it back together? So it's like that. You know, I said this a while back. There was a guy called, wanted me to adjust his carburetor, and I said, well, I mean, I can adjust it, but it could be something else. Could be a carburetor. Perfect example. Here's one. Well, I've been a mechanic for 35 years. I know when it's a carburetor and when it needs an adjustment. I don't mean to question your mechanical abilities, but, you know, and I interrupted him. I said, okay, well, then you can do it. And Carolyn, as soon as I hung up, Carolyn said, well, if he's a mechanic, why didn't he do it? Exactly. If you're so good at it, why are you questioning the guy you're bringing it to? So, yeah, I guess I'm not a hypocrite. I felt like I was being a hypocrite with this guy, but I thought about it for a while, and you know, you don't tell the mechanic you're wrong when you can't get it back together. So anyway, I'm going to jump off here. So if you'll click this up next box to take the video over to my other channel, I'll really appreciate it. Go check it out. So hope I can inspire you to learn so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.